So Laraine, so this is a very interesting role for you to take at this stage of your career. What made you take the part?
Well, this is so kind of like actory and superficial, but I love doing dialects. And, any chance I can get. And I actually am quaking in my boots because I've done a Scottish dialect and, a British dialect and other shows. And I feel like there's got to be a club like I hate Laraine Newman's dialects in Great Britain because it's just, I don't know. But that is an aspect of it. But I mean, the scripts are funny. I really appreciate that because, I remember hearing that Walt Disney said kids love to get scared. And there's stuff that is kind of scary in it as well.
Yeah.
So, there's a balance of humor. We've got some great British actors that are in this that I think are so funny. Harry, my God, I can't, his last name is Trevelyan. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he is. I found him online and I just loved him. He's just so funny. But the cast is just so solid.
Well, speaking as a Brit, I have to say your dialects are superb, and we've we got over Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins, so
If you
don't
can
worry, we're
survive
fine.
that. Thanks.
um, so I believe, if I'm correct, that you did some training under Marcel Marceau a long time ago, not too long ago, sorry.
No,
Um, I,
time ago.
I just wondered, what are the challenges of just performing with your voice?
I love it because, you're not using, well, you are using your body to some extent just to make sound,
Mm,
and affect motion or effort, things like that. But it's like you can focus everything on one aspect of your instrument, you know. And I like that. It's like when I work on camera, it's like I have to remember to use, my other facilities.
mm. And does it take? Was there a lot of research involved in this part? Did you how
Oh,
did you arrive at the final voice?
well, it's really in the description for the audition. And sometimes there's an image which can give you, a sense of, whether they're heavy or whether they're thin, whether they're wiry, whether they're young or old. You get all of those cues from the description and the image. So, and with auditions, you don't really get a chance to do any research.
So you did a audition for this part. You auditioned for
Yeah.
this part. Oh wow! I would have thought an actress of your stature would be walking
Well, it
into roles.
happens sometimes. There's some projects where I just get cast. I don't have to audition, but this one, yeah, I had to read for it.
And is she a character that you would like to revisit again? Is there more to say with this character?
Always. I mean, the relationship she has with her grandchildren, who she's never met, but probably has longed to meet,
Mm,
and trying to break down the barrier because the character Sabrina is so mistrustful. They've been to foster homes and with not so great people, and she doesn't even believe this woman is actually her grandmother. So, and her younger sister, of course, is all innocence and trust and calls her grandma right away. So,
mm,
kind of breaking down that aspect and then having achieved that, and then they become sleuths, all of them,
mm.
which is the original title of the show was Sleuths.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
so it's yeah, there's more will unfold, countless adventures in the Grimm fairy tale world.
that sounds fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Okay, so Billy, Puck, what attracted you to playing the role of Puck?
Wow, I think I'd I'd just finished a job where I was having to get into makeup and costume every single day. And the thought of being able to be in a studio and screaming and flying around in an imaginary world and being a prankster and a trickster sounded appealing to me. So I was very, very much I don't know if you know much about animated series. I'm sure you do, but yeah, to be in a booth and just to scream and to almost go back to childhood. I was acting like a 12-year-old for a couple of months, and it was really good.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic! And I guess it's a role you can play in your pajamas, or well, probably not in your
Exactly.
pajamas.
Yeah.
But you
No
can.
makeup. No. Yeah. No costume. I mean, you know, I'd like to have a pair of the wings if they do sell them at Forbidden Planet. Who knows?
Hey, you never know. We'll talk to our buyers and see if we can get some in stock. So a very unusual role. You're normally playing quite down to earth roles. We think of Ted Lasso, a very, a kind of a regular person in a way.
Mm.
But this is a fantasy setting. How do you research, or how do you prepare for this kind of part?
Yeah, I think obviously I am familiar with the Brothers Grimm stories, and I think, do you know what? The main thing that I wanted to do, and I hope I've got it across, is I just went for it, and I suspended all my disbelief, and I just went, yep, got to go for it, got to scream,
Mm.
got to shout, and also, I think we're all kind of, yeah, we all like to be young at heart. So I think, as I said, it was a great opportunity for me to just tap into a childlike sense of myself, and the words, they jump off the page anyway, so you can see the script and you go, right, in this scene he is pranking, he is being a trickster, he's being silly. We all remember what we used to do as kids, and how we used to behave, and I think that as we get older we realize that we have to behave a certain type of way, but I can't tell you how fun it is to be in a room and just be able to be a kid again.
So it's kind of a license to go crazy, I guess.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That's what I did really, and I took some thought from the Grinch, obviously Jim Carrey. I really loved that. I loved that role, and it's a similar vibe to him and Cindy Lou as there is to Puck and Sabrina, and I don't know if you remember the show Drop Dead Fred, the film with Rick
Oh
May.
yeah,
Yeah, I really
yeah,
those types of characters have always appealed to me even as a kid. So I really just tried to channel that like an adult, but is very immature.
yeah. So he
Yeah.
brings a touch of anarchy to proceedings,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is
Anarchy is a very good word. I definitely channeled that.
and I guess it gives you the opportunity to steal a few scenes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know what Puck was going to look like when you were recording, or did that come after?
They sent me a few illustrations. Obviously, I looked at some of the fictions as well, and there was lots of pictures, online about, the Sisters Grimm character of Puck, and I'm familiar. I went, going to drama school, being classically trained, and knowing what the Midsummer Night's Dream Puck looks like, and they, yeah, they sent me specific illustrations, but now of having to seen the trailer, I'm very
Mm.
happy that it kind of looks a little bit like me. I'm very, very sort of pleased about that maybe they did look at pictures of me and was like, yeah, yeah, let's just go with what Billy looks like. I don't know. I think we've got different eye colors. I think that's the only thing. He's got blue, I got green. But yeah, no, I guess we are familiar with Puck and what potentially. I guess because it's a fairy that's lived for I think about 3,000 years, about 3,000 years old. It can be anything. It can take many forms.
Yeah, and has anything about the voice acting experience surprised you, that you weren't maybe expecting when you took the part?
Definitely. I was when I was being directed, I was being directed by someone called Eden Regal, who does a ton of stuff. I think her and her brother have done like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they've just had like
Mm.
I looked at her CV and it's just incredible. And I just followed everything that she told me to do
Yeah.
because you got like a master in the room, and that was really, really great. And I think that going forward, whether it's this show or another show, I just have so much knowledge about how to, because all you have is your voice, and then everything
Mm.
else is obviously done for you later on. You've really got to put your message across in it, and I think that's it. It's about being very clear about what you need to do and what you need to say, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's obviously a role that you'd quite like to revisit, maybe, in the future.
Yeah, there's a couple of books, there's a good few of these books of the Sisters Grimm books, so we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. And yeah, I'll be back in the booth in no time. I just got to make sure that I drink honey and lemon and make sure my voice isn't doesn't get deeper as I get older.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, listen, thank you so much for taking
Thank you,
time to
Jonathan.
talk to us. Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, Ariel, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. So, my first question, having watched the show, Sabrina is a really intriguing character. But in your words, what was it that made you sign along the dotted line to take this part?
Well, I think there's so much to Sabrina and also just the show in general. Like the show as a whole is so interesting and cool. Like the fantasy world that it's set in is amazing, but the themes that the show deals with are incredible as well. You know, the kids are basically foster children. You know, they don't have parents, and exploring that theme in this show, in this world, is something that I really appreciate, you know, having experience in that world. And so that was something that was really intriguing to me. But Sabrina as a character, I just think that she's just such an amazing example of somebody who has had to overcome so much, but has really like taken it in stride and made so much out of the situation she's been given, and takes care of her sister and takes care of herself. And, you know, she's so young to have had to do all of that, but she's smart and intelligent and she's capable. And she's just a great character. And I love her sarcasm. And I love, you know, there's so much about her that is really cool and about the world as a whole. So, yeah, there was a lot of reasons to take this project.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant performance, of course. It's fantastic stuff.
Thanks.
So, so you've done a lot of live action work and you've done a lot of voice acting work. For somebody like me who hasn't got a clue how you would approach either, which how do you approach either? Is there a difference?
There's definitely a difference, I would say. You know, the biggest difference is that for voice work, you know, you don't get to use your hands, your facial expressions. Like nobody sees that. You have to bring a drawing to life with just your voice, and sometimes that can be really hard. I started doing voice work, so it comes easier for me because I started acting at 4 years old. So it's like when you start doing that so young, it becomes kind of like second nature. But when I work with people who because sometimes I'll help people out with like voiceover auditions and stuff. And when I work with people who are just getting into voice work, it can be kind of challenging because, you know, a lot of acting is using your whole body, using your hands, using your facial expressions to be able to convey what you're feeling. And voice work, you really only have your voice. And, you know, you can use your hands and your face behind the mic, but really that's you got to make sure that translates. And that can be hard. That can be hard.
During the making of the show in particular, was there any pieces of direction you got that you found really helpful for finding the character and for your performance?
Oh goodness. You know, I got to say, we recorded this a long time ago. Like a couple of years ago. So I don't even know if I remember. I don't even know if I remember. I do remember that we had a wonderful time recording, and everyone was really, really talented and amazing. And it all worked really well. So
yeah.
I'm sure there were great moments, but I mean, it was a long time ago, so I don't think I can pinpoint anything for you.
No, that's good. If there was a bad moment, you probably remember that, but there obviously wasn't.
If there was a bad moment, I would have remembered that.
Yeah, and you'd be telling me about it right now and spilling the beans. No, that's fine.
I absolutely would. I would be spilling all the beans.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think Sabrina? Do you think you would be friends with her in real life if she was an actual person?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I know Sabrina's in my life. I think at times I've been a Sabrina, you know, so there are certain aspects of Sabrina I totally relate to. And I think my sister's been a Sabrina. So I definitely think that I would be friends with Sabrina.
And my final question to you really is, do you have a favorite line of dialogue from the show that you recorded so long ago?
We did record it so long ago that when I watch it, I feel like it's all going to feel brand new to me. And I'm kind of excited about that because it has been so long. Like when I heard that we had a release date, I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, like when we recorded it, I was like, I can't wait to see how it comes out. Like I can't wait to see everything about it. And it took a while. So I was like, oh gosh, like, am I ever going to see it? And, you know, it feels that way with every project. It's not like it was like super unusual. But, you know, when you're excited about something, it feels like everything takes forever. But it did take a while. So I don't know if I remember. I don't know if I remember anything. I know I'm kind of boring for you right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not. So you're going to enjoy the show with the rest of us. You're kind of you're going to be a fan.
I am. Yes.
There you go. That's a nice
I'm going to be pulling out the popcorn too.
Yeah, absolutely. Ariel, thank you so much for your time, and all the best for the future. So, where did the origin of the idea come from? Where did you first come across it, and how and why?
Well, I was reading something called the Annotated Brothers Grimm, and just for pleasure. And in it, I had discovered that the Brothers Grimm had a lot of siblings, including sisters. And I just started kicking around this idea of what it must have been like to have such creepy older brothers when you were them. So that title, The Sisters Grimm, just kept rattling around inside my head, and I did some research to see if anybody had ever written a book called The Sisters Grimm, and discovered that no one had. And so, of course, I panicked because every good idea I have, somebody is already doing it. So I sat down and started writing it, and lo and behold, it was all pretty much in there waiting to come out. It was the first book I ever tried to write, and I never thought I was going to be a children's book author. I thought I was going to be a comedian, and then all of a sudden, this book came out, and it was a hit, and now I'm still doing it 20 years later.
Oh wow, wow! And the show is very funny. I mean, it's a great. I can't wait when my daughter's recovered to to watch it with her. What was it that was was humor very important to include in the story? Do you think?
Oh, I mean, I tend to get hired to write comedy, and I have written on sitcoms, and that's where my background is. And no, I think probably comedy, heart were the main elements, because I think comedy makes heart usually. Like I think if you do it in that order rather than the reverse, it usually has a little bit more stability and more power. So yeah, no, it's very important to me. I actually just watched them last 2 weeks ago, and I laughed the whole time. I was like, yes, I'm so glad. And there were jokes we had to fight for that I just, I kind of kept coming around being just like pushy about it. But man, it's a funny show. Yeah, I agree. And I am a really hard laugh. I don't laugh at much, but I thought it was very funny. So yeah.
Wow. Were there any particular jokes that didn't make the final cut that you kind of saving for later, maybe?
No, but one of my favorite jokes is in the first episode. It's like, you're a half rhyme. I think it's so funny. I don't know why I think it's so funny, but that's definitely like, yeah. I mean, I ended up, even though we had other writers, because I get to do the show, I got to rewrite a lot of stuff. So, I definitely put, my weird humor in there. So I don't know. Like, yeah, there were some jokes that got cut, like probably maybe a little too adult or something, or like a little harsh, a little harsh joke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But there's always DVD special features or things maybe down the line. You never know. Let's don't throw anything away. You never know what's coming. Were there any things that surprised you during the making of the show? Maybe the actors provided different vocal performances that you weren't, quite ready for, but really worked in a way you didn't expect. Great question.
I'll tell you that the actors, I thought the scripts were great. The books were great. It was hard to sort of like pare down the books into, like 6 episodes. But, and then when you add these actors, and I just have to say, like, Billy Harris and Harry and Abu, not to mention the girls, but like those 3 characters leveled it up so much. And Ariel brings so many things to a performance that, like, the number of times I cried in Ariel's like performances like in a recording studio. Like I cried all the time. It was just astonishing. And Daphne, and I think Daphne was probably like 11 when we started with her. She's like a child and would bring this, her name's Leah Newman, and just shocking at a child could like put that performance together. So I would just say like, we thought it was good before, but then when the cast came in, I feel very proud of who we cast.
Yeah, everybody on the show is really spectacular. The one I'd like to point out is Laraine Newman, who's playing Granny Relda. And Laraine is a legend in television. I mean, she's an original SNL cast member, clearly the first person on TV that I ever had a crush on. And I just think that it like having somebody with that legendary pedigree working on this show, I couldn't have asked for better actors. And to have this specific person there, just it's a dream come true.
Yeah, I went berserk when she got there the first time. Like
Yeah.
Laraine Newman's like incredible. She walked in the room, I was like, ugh, couldn't talk.
I'm like, oh my God, it's Connie Conehead.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pinch yourself moment there, I think. Guys, thank you so much for speaking to us, and best of luck with the show.
Hey,
Thank
big
you.
fan of Forbidden Planet. Really glad to
Yeah.
have you.
What drew you to the role beyond being called Charming?
I mean, it's a great excuse to tell everyone that I'm playing Prince Charming and being seen as Prince Charming for the rest of my life, isn't it? No, I think like there was a lot. I think ultimately it is the way in which, the creators, the writers have kind of depicted Charming within this specific universe and world. There is a lot more humanity, a lot more sort of complexity to the character. I think a lot of the time, whenever we see Charming depicted, there is a sense of being very. It's easy to go down the route of something that feels a bit stereotypical, and I think like the way in which he's depicted in this space, it feels a lot more engaging and more interesting to kind of play with. So and plus it's fun. Like I think like that's the key thing. I think the one thing that was made clear to me was that we ultimately in this production we're all about having fun. We're all about kind of enjoying it and going through the story with that mentality. So yeah, it was a multitude of ideas and factors of it as a whole, but ultimately really truly it was just having fun with it.
Now then, just between you and me, how much of you is there in Charming?
Oh, everything. I mean, look at me, dude. No, I don't know. The thing is, it's funny. I think as an actor, there is a real big importance to bringing an element of you that can reflect or resonate with a character. And I think like something that I really wanted to pull from is this sense of like vulnerability. I think that Charming, especially within this world, and without spoiling too much, there is a sense of vulnerability to him, a sense of like, knowing who he is, what he is, his name, and what he stands for, but at the same time trying to marry that, trying to live to that. And I think like that is something I think everyone kind of explores, be it either you're a father or you're working in a space, or even a husband, or the sort of the responsibilities you put to yourself are there is a weight to it. And I think with Charming there's a lot of it, especially with where he is and what his standing is in this world.
And did you know how he was going to look when you recorded the show, recorded the part?
Yeah, so what was really lovely and brilliant was there was concept art, and that really helped sort of place the character, kind of the idea of where he stands, where he holds himself, which was really useful, especially for voice artists, because I've done quite a few games, and every time that you see the concept art of a character or the poses in which the the artists have put the character in tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about how they hold themselves, how they see themselves. And so yeah, there was quite a lot of work that like I was able to see a bit of work in regards to how he looks, which was good fun. But then finding that voice was very much a good thing that we played with the director.
Oh wow! What was the best note that you got from the director? The most helpful note, maybe?
If I could, oh, it was a while back since we recorded, but um, I'd say during the process, it was just have fun with it. I think like that was the thing. I think there is a tendency, especially when it comes to recording, um to be in a place where you try and take everything quite seriously, and
Mm.
trying to deliver everything to the best and utmost of it as a whole. But actually, I do recall, just getting into the flow of it and having fun with it. And I think like that was something that was really highlighted was, yeah, just have fun, play with it. That was great. Have fun with it. Relax more.
Yeah. Well, because you're known for your video games, some of
Mm.
the Assassin's Creed, for example, being your signature role kind of thing, which very serious. So was it nice to play something a bit lighter maybe this time around?
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the things that I love about recording in a voice booth is that you can literally rock up in whatever you want to wear, because ultimately it's about the voice and about the performance, right? So
Yeah.
doing a role in which you know the world, you know the universe, you know the genre and the audience in which you're trying to capture for, there is a lot of space to have fun in it. And in comparison to playing Bayek, which is this like father driven by revenge.
Yeah.
It feels really lovely to play Prince Charming in Sisters Grimm.
Oh, fabulous. And I hope we see more of him maybe in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, mate. Take care.
Cheers.
If you're enjoying watching Forbidden Planet TV and you're enjoying watching us talk to the world's most interesting and accomplished filmmakers, authors, artists, musicians, creators, subscribe right here. See you soon.